Kregon's dark world. As the three friends stepped into the abandoned house, the air grew thick and heavy, and the atmosphere turned sinister. The old wooden floorboards creaked under their feet as they made their way through the dark hallway. They had heard stories of the house's demonic possession, but they had dismissed them as just rumors. As they explored the house, they realized that something was terribly wrong. The shadows seemed to move on their own, and the air was filled with whispers that seemed to come from all directions. They heard a low growling sound coming from the next room. They entered cautiously and found a dog, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly red light. As they approached the dog, it lunged at them, biting one of their hands and ripping it off. The three friends screamed in terror as they tried to escape the dog's wrath. But it was too late, and the dog had already tasted blood. It attacked them with a ferocity that they had never seen before. They could hear its jaws crunching on bones, and its teeth tearing through flesh. The two friends who were still alive could only watch in horror as their friend's hand was eaten by the demonic dog. They were trapped, and there was no escape. As the dog finished its gruesome meal, it vanished into the shadows. The house was once again silent, but the demonic presence remained. Days later, the two friends who had survived the attack decided to go back to the house to investigate what had happened. As they entered the house, the air grew colder, and the shadows grew darker. They could hear strange noises coming from every corner of the house. As they made their way through the hallway, they saw their friend's hand lying on the ground, covered in blood. They picked it up, and as they did, they heard a low growling sound coming from behind them. They turned around and saw the demonic dog standing there, its eyes glowing with an evil energy. It attacked them with a ferocity that was beyond anything they had ever experienced. They could feel its claws tearing through their flesh, and its teeth sinking deep into their skin. As they screamed in terror, they knew that they had made a grave mistake. They could feel their life slipping away, and they knew that there was no escape. As the demon finished its gruesome work, it vanished into the shadows. The two friends who had survived the attack were never the same again. They were haunted by the memory of the demonic dog and the friend who had lost their hand. They could never forget the terror that they had experienced and the price that they had paid. The demonic possession of the house had claimed another set of victims, and the curse remained unbroken. The house remained abandoned, its walls stained with blood and the shadows lurking in every corner. Months went by, and the story of the demonic possession of the house faded from people's memories. But one day, a family moved into the house, unaware of its dark past. They thought they had found a hidden gem, a cheap house with plenty of character. As they settled into their new home, they began to notice strange things happening. They heard whispers in the night, and shadows seemed to move on their own. They brushed it off as their imagination playing tricks on them, but the feeling of unease persisted. One night, the family's youngest child woke up screaming, claiming that there was a dog in their room. The parents tried to calm the child down, but they could feel something watching them. As they looked around, they saw a pair of glowing red eyes in the darkness. They tried to run, but the doors and windows had been sealed shut. The demonic dog appeared, and it attacked the family with a ferocity that was beyond anything they had ever experienced. They could feel its claws tearing through their flesh, and its teeth sinking deep into their skin. As they screamed in terror, they knew that they had made a terrible mistake. They had thought they could escape the curse of the house, but they were wrong. The demonic possession of the house had claimed its latest victims. As the demon finished its gruesome work, it vanished into the shadows. The house was once again silent, but the demonic presence remained. The neighbors who had heard the screams called the police, but when they arrived, there was no sign of the family. The house remained abandoned, its walls stained with blood and the shadows lurking in every corner. The demonic possession of the house will always be a mystery, and anyone who enters its doors will face the same fate as the others. Years went by, and the abandoned house became a legend in the town. Many stories were told about the demonic possession of the house, and no one dared to enter its doors. But there was one teenager who had heard the stories and thought they were just rumors. One night, the teenager decided to explore the abandoned house. As they stepped into the dark hallway, they could feel the air growing colder and the shadows growing darker. They heard strange whispers coming from all directions, and they could see the red glow of eyes in the darkness. As they explored the house, They heard strange noises, and they saw shadows moving on their own. They tried to leave, but the doors and windows had been sealed shut. They were trapped, and there was no escape. Suddenly, they heard a deep growling sound coming from behind them. They turned around and saw the demon standing there, its form twisted and grotesque. Its eyes glowed with an evil energy, and its teeth were sharp and bloody. The teenagers screamed in terror as the demon attacked them. Its claws tore through their flesh, and its teeth sank deep into their skin. Blood splattered across the walls as the demon tore them apart. As the teenagers' life slipped away, they could feel the demon's presence growing stronger. It was as if the demon had been unleashed from its prison, and it was hungry for more. The demon revealed itself fully to the teenager, and they could see its twisted form in all its gory glory. Its skin was black and scaly, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly energy. Its teeth were sharp and bloody, and its claws were long and razor-sharp. The teenager tried to run, but it was too late. The demon had claimed them as its latest victim. The house was once again silent, but the demonic presence remained. The legend of the demonic possession of the house continued to spread, and people were warned to stay away. The curse of the house was a reminder that some secrets were best left buried, and some places were best left untouched. To this day, the abandoned house remains a cursed and haunted place. The demonic possession of the house has claimed many victims over the years, and the curse shows no signs of lifting. The demon remains hidden in the shadows, waiting for its next victim to claim. The church gets wind of this. It's not over yet.